This is the Phoenix mind, where the fire refines, break the chains and rise to shine. Rise stronger, lead with heart, every end a brand new start. With Lisa Manzo, we transform, we ignite. This is a Phoenix mind.
This is Lisa Manzo. Welcome to the Phoenix Mind podcast. I'm your host, and in this space, we have real talk. We talk about the meaningful, the messy, the transformational, the rise from the ashes moments, and we lead with emotional intelligence. And today, my guest is Carah Elizabeth, and I'm going to read you her bio so I don't miss a thing. Carah Elizabeth is a clinically trained psychotherapist turned trauma-informed coach, empowering high-achieving women to break free from the limitations of generational patterns and lead their lives with embodied confidence, self-trust, and soul-powered abundance. With over 20 years of experience in the mental health field, Carah blends her expertise in somatic healing, nervous system regulation, and energy work to guide women through a deeply transformational journey of reconnecting with their bodies, healing past trauma, and stepping into their true potential. Through her signature soul-powered life method, Carah helps women uncover the subconscious patterns that kept them stuck while providing the tools to create lasting health, wealth, and fulfillment from the inside out. Carah's work has been described as life-changing, transformative, and deeply impactful, combining the best of science and spirit to bring lasting transformation. When she's not coaching, you'll find her deeply immersed in nature, exploring the world, and continuing her own journey of embodied healing. Welcome, Carah.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. I'm so grateful that you are having me on today.
Oh, I'm so excited. And I read your story, and everyone's story is so interesting to me because everyone's story touches somewhere, someone, somewhere, somehow. So I have to ask, so you were a licensed clinical social work psychotherapist,
Yes.
and you walked away. Let's talk about, tell a little bit of your story about that, because that's so intriguing, because you've told me that you were making six figures and you walked away. Like, people, I'm going to say it for my audience. Wow, you walked away. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So it really starts, my journey into psychotherapy began when I was 14 and I was struggling with my own eating disorder. And I had a therapist tell me, "You're going to die." She basically she abandoned me in that place. She told me that. And I, being in my 14, 15-year-old glory, all rebellion and everything, walked out of that office and said, "Watch me." And I told my mom, I'm never going back. And I took care of myself. And now I did have other therapists along the way. But in that moment, I never wanted anybody to feel that way. I never wanted anybody to feel abandoned by this person that's supposed to be supporting them. So I decided at that age that I was going to be a therapist. And I went to school and I finished high school. I went to college. I put myself through grad school. None of it was easy. It was hard. I went through all of the supervised work experience to become a therapist, and that was my mission. And I achieved it. And I was really good. I saw a lot of success with my clients. I opened up a private group practice, which means I had therapists under me. We were bringing in multiple six figures a year. It was growing. I had a really good reputation. But I felt the constraints of the field of therapy. Now, this was years ago. So this was pre-social media. This was the time when social media was just getting big and we were threatened. We were like, you cannot have a client on your social media. You cannot talk, you cannot have outside contact with your clients, or it was a breach of, your ethics, and you could lose your license. We were threatened. We were trained in the energy of fear. And that's what I really started realizing is I was running my whole practice under this energy of fear. And I realized how that was mimicking my own upbringing, my own traumatic upbringing as a child. And I was like, this needs to stop now. In order for me to truly heal, in order for me to have the truly healing that I needed, and then allow my clients to have even a deeper breakthrough, because I was also trained in somatics. I was also trained in yoga. I was trained as a Reiki master, but I couldn't bring any of that stuff into my practice, even though I knew it was deeply healing for me, because it wasn't empirically studied, quote unquote. And therefore it wasn't recognized by the board as a modality for healing. So I couldn't bring all of the tools I knew that could support my clients in a holistic way into my practice. And I was like, that needs to stop. I want my clients to heal. I want them to heal at such a deep level that they don't need to come back anymore. And I just realized that this pattern of psychotherapy and psychiatric care and even just healthcare was just this like cyclical pattern of like keeping people on the couch. And I'm like, no, no, no. I don't want people to stay on my couch. I don't want people to have to come to me forever. I want them to feel the confidence in their ability to manage the ups and downs in their life, which is deep nervous system healing for themselves, and trust themselves. And maybe they need to tune up here and there, but they have that embodied confidence to manage life in all of the storms, all of the chaos and the beauty that brings its way. And so I'm like, I need to choose a different path. There's a different path for me to do this. And so I did. I walked away.
You mentioned somatics, and I know about Reiki. I don't know a lot. I've heard of Reiki. So let's talk about that, because I have no idea what you mean.
Okay, somatics is the felt sense. Okay, so I talk about the soul-powered living. I talk about living your soul-powered life. So the way that I like to explain this is, as a therapist, I was trained in the mind. We're trained up here. We're trained in cognitive modalities for healing. And we do call it cognitive behavioral, but we don't exactly bring it into the body. We bring it into the action, which is still very mind focused. And this is where even like we can track this on social media trends, where it was mindset coaching, mindset coaching, mindset coaching. And then it was body-based coaching and body-based coaching and body-based coaching. And it goes in this waves. So somatics is dropping into the body. The greatest impact of trauma has on our beings is cutting us off from our body. We get into our head, we try to figure things out, we try to understand what happened, we try to plan, we try to prepare for another potential trauma or preventing another trauma. So it's very head-based. Somatics bridges this gap and drops this in our body. How is that feeling in your body? Where are you storing that tension? Where are you storing that energy of the trauma? Where is it living? And a lot of times we see this in those random aches and pains that just always are there, and we don't know why. Or always getting sick and we don't know why. Your body's trying to tell you that the need is not being met. And so it's this felt sense. Like if you just have like this random stiff shoulder, but you never really heard it, maybe it's just like it's tense, and it's just been tense for so long. And that pain is trying to get you like, hey, drop into your body. Feel
Right.
your body.
And so I've done enough, and I've learned enough. So specific emotions and traumas are stored in different places in the body. Is that correct?
Yes, and they're different for every person. It's how your body manifests that trauma in the body.
Okay.
Go
ahead. What was you going to ask?
We do tend to generally store more emotions in the larger muscle groups, in the larger areas like the hips and the shoulders, or the jaw, tensing, clenching the jaw. Those are generally where a lot of people store trauma. However, you may store trauma in a different place than I did because you had a different experience, and that's how your body froze the trauma in time.
I can respect that. So for years, I couldn't sit on the floor. With crossing your legs for about 15 years. I can do it now. I don't know what trauma I released, but I can do it now. And I couldn't do it for about 15 years. Like you would see me, I had to have my legs straight. I couldn't crisscross them. And now one day I was sitting on the floor crisscross. I'm like, oh, I can do this now. Woohoo, wonder what I released.
Well, and when you think about that, when do you see people most, what age group do you see people most sitting cross-legged?
Young people.
Exactly. So there was probably some element of childhood trauma that was being stored in that position, to where your body just didn't feel safe to allow you to access that position.
Yes, we have a lot of childhood trauma.
Yes.
Lots of childhood trauma.
And it sounds like you've done work around that then.
Oh my God, I've done so much work. I took this picture in January of 2018. I took this picture of me, my miserable, unhappy self. And I decided in that moment that I didn't know how I was going to change my life, but I know I was going to, because there had to be more to life than what I was living. And every
Exactly.
time I look back at
Exactly.
that picture, I hated that picture when I took it, and now I'm so proud of it because I see how far I've come.
And you can have so much compassion for that version of you and so much gratitude because she made that decision to
Yeah,
do something different.
she did.
She had to take that step. And
Yeah.
that's what's beautiful is like we can honor those parts of ourselves that yes, we're so miserable and unhappy, but they got us to where we are today.
Oh, yeah. Gratitude for every lesson you've ever gotten because that made you more resilient, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, so it's, you told me you gave up your license, and you gave up your license because to keep your license, you would have had to stay within the confines of the license, right? You couldn't use any of those other modalities, and you're way more successful now, but you don't take insurance, so people have to pay you privately, right?
Yes, and I had actually shifted my practice to not taking insurance as well for the last 2 years as well. So I had already removed insurances
Okay.
already. So we were still doing very well without accepting insurance. And people were still using out of network. And like even for me, people can still use their HSA accounts, their health savings accounts with me
Oh, yeah.
for coaching. So but in this world and in this insurance-based world, a lot of people are choosing not to use insurance anyways because of the potential future repercussions of
Oh,
having
yeah.
a diagnosis and things like that.
Right. So, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that, so you walked away
Mhm.
and you lost your colleagues, right? Talk about that. Let's talk about what you lost by walking away, because you know, transformation is not easy. It takes work. It takes courage. It really does. I mean, I'm in my 60s. I'm here because I know there's more, and I believe. So what you
Yes.
believe manifests. But talk about what you gave up, because I want people to understand, yes, this work is worth doing. The transformation is absolutely fabulous. And I don't want to be painting any pictures. Oh, yeah, you could just do this. It's just so easy. So talk about what happened.
Yeah. So again, I have to reiterate, this was pre-COVID. So this was a 2019, this was actually 2020, 2019, 2020. So we've seen a complete shift in psychology and in therapy. Like everybody's on social media marketing their therapy practice and doing things differently. But when I left, this was before that was allowed. Um, so this was before it was trending. So I had tons of referral sources. I had tons of colleagues. When I chose to leave and to release my license, I stopped hearing from every single one of them. Now, a couple of them have come back and communicated. A couple of them follow and lurk on social media, but don't actually engage. But at that time, it was at least here in Arizona. And I remember saying this myself is no matter what you do, you don't give up your license because you'll never get it back because Arizona is very particular state and very old school. And it would probably be next to impossible to get it back if you released it. That might not be the case anymore, but I don't know. So everybody stopped talking to me. I mean, it was very traumatizing in a way for me to be like, oh, I literally have no more referral sources because nobody's going to refer to me as a coach. They're going to refer to other therapists. So I gave up the stability of, I mean, I had a 6-month waiting list when I released my license, when I gave up my practice. My therapist underneath me had a 6-month waiting list. So I gave up not only like my income, but the income I was earning from these therapists under me. So we were on a 60-40 split. So that's 40% of their income. So I had 3 under me. So that's 120% of my income was coming from them. So I was making additional income from them. So I gave it all up. I had no guarantees that coaching was going to work for me. I had no guarantees that I would be able to do this. I mean, this was, again, before the boom of coaching, before the boom of social media marketing coaching. And so I walked away and ended up was really just alone for the first time in my career because going through school, you have colleagues, classmates you go to school with, and then you get into internship together and then you start your work together and then you have these instant referral sources and then you build this reputation, and I worked specifically in eating disorders and trauma. So I had other therapists, I had psychiatrists, I had nutritionists, all referring to me because that was my specialization. That's what I was known for. And in an instant, in one day, it's nothing. And it's like, okay, now I have to learn how to market, because
Oh, yeah.
as a therapist, you aren't taught business skills. You're not taught to market. You just have referrals. You just have people, you either have insurance or you have referral sources. And I worked within the field for 20 years. I had never like really burnt a bridge. So I had all of these old jobs that I still knew people at, or, and in an instant, it was like done. It was like starting over.
How did you heal from that? What did you do? To give us some tips, like, because that's great. That's a big loss. So how did
It
you
is.
heal from that?
It absolutely is. The biggest thing for me was knowing that I was trusting myself. The biggest thing for me was knowing that I was following what felt good for me. And this comes through somatic coaching, is being able to tell like what feels good for me, what's a yes and what's a no. And being able to really feel, okay, continuing this career just because it's safe, but doesn't allow me the expansiveness of helping the clients in the complete way that I can, as well as helping clients outside of my geographical location, that no longer felt good. Like I knew that there were more people out there. And now I have clients all over the world, all over the country, all over the world, because they hear my voice. They can hear my voice. They can find me.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just the people in the county that I lived in.
Yeah. This being on social media and sharing, and that it's wonderful. This is part of the reason for the podcast, is to bring different stories to people to understand, yes, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. Yeah.
And it's just,
Go ahead.
it's just building that confidence in yourself. And that's what I love to help people do, is build that confidence that you can make a hard decision and it's going to work out, because you're not making it in fear. You're making it in confidence. You're trusting your soul's purpose. You're trusting what feels good.
Okay, I want to talk about this. So that's great. So I want you to know that I had, and I want my audience to know, because this is real talk. When I decided that I was going to change my life, I was absolutely miserable. And I had, the only confident thing that I knew was that my life was going to change. Okay. And I understood and I knew that, because I knew that and that was the only thing I was confident in. I had no direction, no nothing. I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. And doors started to open.
Yes. That's what happened.
Great. Actually, the doors had started to open before I made the decision. I moved to North Carolina. I didn't know anybody. I was bored as anything. And I started Googling free things to do on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then I got into this network, real estate investing, which is not really my thing, but I got a lot of education on it. And which led me to the person that taught me about the mind. And I learned from her. Now I teach it, because it's how we talk to ourselves. It's so important.
And that is the important thing. Like I talk to people about my journey of going from therapy to body to soul. But we need to go in these layers. There are people that come to me and we are able to drop into the body right away because they already have a very clear understanding of the mind. But the mind is how we open the gateway to the body. Open the body to let us feel what's actually happening in the body. And then the body is the gateway, the doorway to let us into our soul, where we can feel that deep soul calling of what am I supposed to do at this soul level? What makes me, what's a yes, what's a no, what's making me happy, what's making me not like what's giving me life versus what's sucking me dry. And so we need these layers to move through, to give us the opportunity to open up. We can't just deep dive into the core of any wounding. That would just re-traumatize us.
Right. So what's one tip you can give the audience for, like, when they're in their head, they need to get back into their body? How can somebody do that?
Presence and grounding. When we're in our head, we're rarely in this moment. It's like we can drive from point A to point B and not remember any second of that drive. And we'd be like, I basically just teleported. So when you can get yourself present into this moment, and the easiest way, the way that I start everybody off with is the rules of 5. What are 5 things that you see physically right now? What are 4 things that you feel tactily on your body, your clothes, your hair, the breeze, the sun? What are 3 things that you smell or that you hear, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste? And what this does is it just zaps you right back into this moment, right back into this present moment. And when we are present, it's like on the map that says you are here. When you're present, you're here. And then I can make a decision. I can make a step forward. I can make a step back if I decide to. But I can only do that when I'm here, when I know where I'm at in this moment. So becoming present, practicing bringing yourself back to present when you notice your mind taking you elsewhere. That's such an important step. And it's such a big step, and it sounds easy, but it's not, because you might have to do that. You might have to ground yourself 100 times a day. But that's a win. If you do it 100 times a day, that's a win. Celebrate that, because that means that you've been practicing it, and it will get easier to be present, because not being present is dissociating, is taking your mind away because the present seems too difficult.
Yeah, I did a lot of that as a younger person. I did a lot of dissociating. I think I decided, I remember learning about it as a young child. Who knows, somewhere between 10 and 18. I just remember learning about it and about how people, I don't know what movie I saw, people would dissociate, probably the movie Civil.
Maybe, yeah,
And
back in the day.
yeah, and dissociating, and it's like getting back into my own body now. It took a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And be gentle, because understanding that the dissociation didn't happen overnight. It happened slowly. And the returning to presence is going to happen slowly. We have to help the body understand that we're safe to be in this present moment, because anything that feels slightly similar to the past experience is automatically deemed as dangerous, even if it's not really dangerous. So we have to help the body feel safe in this moment. And that's how we then can move on to actually healing the patterns or the traumas that we experienced, because we know we can bring ourselves back to safety in the present.
Oh, that's good. Do you have a tip for that? Feeling safe in your body?
Well, it starts with being present, and it starts with reminding yourself of the fact, like when you notice yourself feeling anxious or depressed or unsafe. Awareness. Is this now, or is this the past? Like, am I safe in this moment? Is there somebody after me? Is there a danger coming at me? Is there an accident? Is there a woolly mammoth chasing me? I don't know. Like, if the answer is no, be like, okay, I'm here and I'm safe in this moment. And this is my inner child running the show for my nervous system right now. And I just need to let her know that she's safe, or he's safe.
Yeah, that's so great. So you say, what I found interesting, what you said was like some of the people came back, right?
Yeah.
How was that for you when they came back? Because I just curiosity, because like, were you angry? Did you let them back in? Talk to
And
us.
no, I wasn't. I let them back in. Absolutely. And even the people that lurk on me, I still am like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, I see you lurking. And they still don't respond. And it's okay. Because at the end of the day, like, I know that there's still so many of them were still ingrained in that fear-based mindset of the profession. And I can see that, and being able to say like, okay, this is them still living in fear of their licensure. And that's okay. They're not ready to move to where I am yet. And I can see that there's that gap, and I can still love them and appreciate them and respect them and be in my space, be where I'm at, be in a different place. So it really, like, it's not like, I mean, some of them might have talked bad about me, even that is like, whatever, I don't need to waste my energy on that. But most of them just didn't know what to do, because I made a decision that colored outside of the box for them.
I heard a while ago, one of my mentors said, it's none of my business what other people think of me.
Yeah.
Isn't that
absolutely?
Because, talk about that. What do you feel about that?
It's amazing. It's amazing, because again, I can't control anybody else or what they think. And the more I spend energy trying to convince them of who I am, all of that is trying to validate who I am to somebody else. But the reality is, I just need to know that I'm valid. I just need to validate myself. I just need to confidently live in my experience And the people who are going to respect that are going to flock to me. I'm going to attract those people. But if I have to continually convince people who don't like me to like me, that's a trauma response from the past. That's people pleasing. That's trying to prove myself. That's trying to over explain myself to people who may never like me. And are they really that important? Is their validation really that important?
Uh-huh. Absolutely. So, oh my God, this is so cool. I love it all because you have such courage to, I mean, that must have been difficult to, or not easy, let's say, for mind programming purposes. Basically, it's just reprogramming your own mind to do something different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what that is doing at that point is it's starting to rewire your nervous system to embrace the unfamiliar, not be afraid of it. And that's really what we're going towards. Like, your nervous system isn't always going to be in a regulated state. But if we can understand that doing something different isn't going to kill us, isn't going to break us, then we can do all sorts of fun, exciting things. Like, I just went for 45 days to Europe by myself. I had no idea. I didn't speak the language. Like, I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to expand. I want to go. So I did. And I figured it out. And yeah, there were some not so great moments, but I figured it out. And again, I built confidence in my ability to be adaptable. And that's what we're seeking, is we're seeking adaptability.
I got a great question for you. Okay.
Okay.
So my dating history is not the best, right? Okay.
Same. Yeah.
I'm on a break. I date here and there. I will date here and there. And if somebody is familiar to me, I walk away, because I found that the familiar are like somebody I've already dated, and I don't want that. So when I'm looking to date, I'm looking to date the unfamiliar now.
And that's a beautiful exercise in expanding your window of tolerance and rewiring your nervous system, is understanding that that is it, whether it's dating, whether it's jobs, whether it's whatever it might be. If something feels familiar, if in your nervous system, but you are in a state of survival or fight or flight, you're in that constant state of embracing chaos. If it feels familiar, it's part of that pattern. And we want to shift the pattern out of the familiar into the unknown, because the unknown is going to expand us.
Which they call getting out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the reality is that comfort zone isn't always that comfortable. It's just familiar.
I like that. It's true. The comfort zone isn't comfortable. It's familiar. Maybe we should rename it.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just because your body, your nervous system knows how to respond to that level of chaos. It puts you in a fight or flight, or it shuts you down. It's easy.
Get out of the familiar zone. I like that. That's great. Get out of the familiar zone, because I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And so I have 2 more questions for you. So we've talked a lot. You've given a lot of tips about healing and trauma, and everything is so valuable that you said. So I would like you to give my audience a piece of advice now, either something you've already said because it's so important they need to hear it again, or something new. But what can you tell somebody who's struggling and needs to make a shift?
I want to go with something new, because I think people can always re-listen to the episode and take notes. But what I would love for people who are in the midst of struggling and trying to shift do is, when you're speaking to yourself, or when you're thinking about yourself, think about that 5-year-old self or that 7-year-old self. How would you treat them? How would you talk to them? Because they're like, we want to talk to ourselves the way that we would talk to those younger parts of us, because those younger parts didn't get that. And that's why we're in the position we are now. And so if we can give ourselves the compassion and love and encouragement and guidance that we would give a child, we will be able to make shifts more powerfully and quicker than beating ourselves up the way that we've been trained through this world.
Awesome. That was so great. And so my last question is, people that when people want to reach you and learn more from you, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can. My email address is Carah at carahelizabeth.com. I'm sure you can add that to the show notes. As well as Instagram is at carah.elizabeth. Those are the best places to get a hold of me and reach me, to set up a time to chat or to get any of the free resources that I have available.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been our episode of the Phoenix Mind podcast. Again, I'm your host, Lisa Manzo. This is where we have the real talk, the messy, the meaningful, the real transformational work, the rise from the ashes moment, and we lead with emotional intelligence. And I will see you on the next episode.
This is the Phoenix Mind, where the fire refines. Together we rise, transform our lives. So subscribe.